Oh, honey, we're about to get very busy up here.
Now, Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston says his government decided to replace the judge overseeing the Lionel Desmond inquiry because Warren Zimmer's final report was taking too long to complete. The provincial fatality inquiry, which was created 5 years ago, investigated why Afghanistan war vet killed 3 family members and himself in their rural Nova Scotia home in January 2017. Raymond Shepherd, African Nova Scotian veteran and social justice and human rights activist. Raymond Shepherd, thanks for joining the show.
My pleasure.
What the heck has this justice been doing all this time to get this report written? He was supposed to retire. He was extended to. He was continued to be paid for months and months. What's the excuse here? Was he on vacation? What the heck's going on here?
I don't exactly know because the details are not forthcoming. I honestly thought that Warren Zimmer, being the person he is, would have completed the report by September of last year. After 56 or whatever days of an inquiry and a number of people testifying and different information coming forth and so on, I would think that a document of some kind would be put together to prevent this kind of thing from happening again, or a document trying to prevent with some rules and regulations and changes and all that stuff and so on. And I don't understand what's happening here. Suffice it to say, I think Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Justice denied or delayed is justice denied. Yeah. And when you look at, to be quite honest, in the history of this rock we call Nova Scotia, only a few inquiries have been held where African Nova Scotians were concerned. And in the case of the Desmond inquiry, the Justice Department is still failing African Nova Scotians miserably. When will it end? Where will it end?
Is there not some accountability, though? How can this justice just simply not deliver the report? Is he just being, I don't want to be crass here, but is he being lazy? I think we deserve some explanations here.
Yes, I agree with that, and I agree that the family has gone through hell and back in terms of trying to get information so that they can feel some sort of closure based on this tragedy within a tragedy that has taken place and so on. There are people out here with PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder that might be at risk themselves and so on of committing such an act, if you will. Yeah. So I don't know exactly what's happening. I think that Justice Zimmer should have, and the Justice Department should have known or taken on the responsibility of guiding him, if you will, and demanding under contractual law that he complete a report and complete it by September or November or whatever. Now you're going to have the Department of Injustice or Justice say, okay, Polly Buchanan will pick up whatever, or some other lawyer or some other judge. That is disrespectful to Nova Scotians, disrespectful to the family, and it's highly disrespectful to the African Nova Scotia community. And I'm pissed.
I bet. And so all the testimony that this justice heard, so does a new justice have to watch all the video? What is there video? How long would it take for a new justice? And then what type of report could they deliver that would be of any value?
Yeah, that's a very excellent point, because if a new justice is appointed tomorrow and they have to go over Warren's preliminary report, if you will, and then go on to watch video and so on, may not be up to date on the happenings and so on. This is going to take another year or whatever. Yeah. And we don't have that kind of time to continue to mourn the loss of family members and so on and so on. And without a strategic plan in place based on an inquiry report, what is going to stop this from happening again?
I don't think I've ever heard this type of thing before, ever, where a justice oversaw something like this and then just didn't deliver a report and just said, "Well, it's not going to happen." I don't think I've ever heard of this. I'm not saying that it's intentional or there's some connection to the Desmond situation, but it's just one thing after another with how this whole thing is. I mean, you and I have had many conversations about how you've been unsatisfied with this whole process, right?
Absolutely. And I don't understand it. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a haze or something, but I do not understand why this was not completed about a year ago. First of all, I don't understand the start and stop and relocation and this, that, the other thing. We don't have a big enough courtroom. We have to go here. We have to go there. We have to do this. We have to do that. Oh, we'll suspend it for 3 months and go on such and such a date and so on and so on. This is ridiculous. And just to quote somebody, Linda Palmer, former director of Nova Scotia Health Authority, she said when she testified that the system doesn't work. And I believe she's right.
Yeah, so the Justice, I mean, the government, the Justice, or as you call it, Injustice Department, certainly wears this, because if it were a true priority, then they wouldn't have allowed these things to go on like this. It would have been better managed, and ultimately it falls upon them, does it not?
Yes, it does. And you're so right. If it was a true priority, they would have done the right thing because it was the right thing and is the right thing. Going back and trying to recreate the wheel is not the way forward.
Yeah. All right. So will this report mean anything when it eventually, and we don't, it's hard to believe it'll eventually even lead to a report, but I would think at this point it's almost going to fall on just deaf ears, right?
Yes, and most people would be skeptical when a report is ever penciled, if you will, based on how it has come about and how it has been formatted in such a manner that, okay, drib here, a drab there, a drib here, a drab there, and so on, put off, inconclusive information, if you will, because it has not continued to see its end.
So what do we look to next? I mean, at some point you almost just kind of shrug your shoulders and just say, what the heck, and walk and lose interest in this.
Yeah, and some people will exactly that, lose interest and say, oh yeah, well, blah, 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 and so on and so on. I will not, because I'm a cousin of Lionel Desmond and a pro-African Nova Scotian person, if you will, and I need this to happen. I need this to go forward. I need this to conclude so that the family has some documentation as to what happened, what could be prevented, and so on and so on, and an understanding, if you will. And I think that people listening to your show today should be concerned. Right, Houston. Right, the Department of Justice. Let's get a rally going and, 400 people, 500, 600 people. Let's be mad as hell and show it.
Absolutely. Anyway, I'm not sure what else to say, Raymond. It's just really, really sad the way that this whole thing's gone, and obviously, so I guess we'll see where it goes, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Take care. Raymond Shepherd, African Nova Scotian veteran and social and human rights activist. How does the justice, again, was set to retire before the report was completed, and then he was extended a few times to get this report done and never ever delivered it, and suddenly the minister, or rather the premier, replaces him. I think an explanation is owed here, folks, to the public, and certainly first and foremost to the family involved. I think that something needs to be explained here. What the heck is going on? What happened here? I've never seen anything like this with this type of thing.